with pain, we do have first order, second order, third order, that sort of thing, because we need to get that information to the area of the brain that can recognize it so that we can begin to address that problem. And it keeps us from hopefully further injuring the area. The organs of our body need to let us know that something is wrong with them. For example, people with gallbladder problems, they'll have certain areas of their body that will hurt, and that gets them to go to the doctor. And the doctor can hopefully know that this is indicative of this particular organ and begin to check it. So they might run a test on, say, for example, the gallbladder or the liver. If you go in and you have pelvic pain, hopefully they'll check your urine. All right? So it lets them know areas. If the person's going, well, this, I hurt right here, check a little bit further than just the skin. Okay? And the one that I mentioned in class was the classic signs of a heart attack. The heart attack, when a heart attack happens, and we'll learn this as we move into that chapter, remember, the heart is cardiac muscle, and in the case of a heart attack, that muscle has died. All right? And with a heart attack, once that cardiac muscle dies, okay, it never comes back. All right? So, you know, you can have what they term a small heart attack or a massive heart attack and so forth, and it's referring to how much of that muscle was killed in that stopping of the blood flow to that area of the heart. So there are classic signs from the heart that let people know they could be having a heart attack, like running down the arm, hurting in the chest, you know, up into the neck. Women, don't forget, they can hurt through their back. Okay? So hopefully it lets the doctor know, well, let's start at this point to see what happens. Well, now, taking it from something that's very generalized, we now move into something that's going to get very specialized. And the reason that, like I've said before, the reason that it gets very special is going to be due to the neuron shape that's going to be present, where they're going to be found, what they're going to pick up on, and convert it to something that the body can identify and give the response. So, what we're going to see, two of our special senses are considered chemical. The two that are considered chemical, taste and smell. What this means, this right here, this is a taste bud in the epithelium of the tongue. They are so cute, okay? Now, what we do, well, we simply take our foodstuffs, get them into the mouth, we chew, saliva mixes all that sort of stuff, and it's taking something that was that foodstuff, all these different chemicals that make up that foodstuff, and we take it and turn it into information the body can pick up on. On the tongue, based on the structure, where we're going to find taste buds, okay, they're going to pick up on a stimuli, which is the chemicals, and we term this a tastant. So the molecules in the food dissolve, and then the tongue picks up on, are we eating something salty? Is it sweet? Is it umami, which is meat, okay, the savory taste of meat, sour or bitter? And I'm sure you've all seen the layout of the tongue, right? Where you pick up the salty, the sweet, all that sort of stuff. Did the door close?
Yeah.
So if you look at what's taking place, it's picking up on those molecules that where we took the food and broke it down. And here's what, just look at this structure right here. Okay, look at the structure of a taste bud. Looks like bananas, all right? They're trying to show us pink and blue. We've got a break in the epithelium of the tongue. Coming through that little pore are going to be taste hairs, and yes, hairs, like, well, some people, okay, but these are neuronal hairs. Okay, it's probably not a right term, but they're nerve hairs, just like you're going to find in your nose. Do not pluck them out. Okay, like for the nose, for example, have you ever seen the people go get their nose waxed? I'm like, you did what? Yeah, I got my nose waxed. Okay, first of all, you should have never done that, never do it again, and never pluck a hair out. I mean, you know, I've actually seen people get the little needle nose pliers, and I'm like, what? No. These are nerve parts. Trim them, okay? Don't let them grow into your mustache. Trim them. And bless their hearts, some people have an overproduction of these, and they literally have a hairy tongue. Look it up, okay? It's gross. But now, I'm sorry, but hey, look, I'm just saying, okay? Look it up, all right? Now, but here's what happens. This is so cute, okay? So we get that stuff dissolved. Now, what do you note about the yellow connections to these cells? Huh? It's only found on one type of the bananas. Okay? So, if these are the cells, okay, the pink ones are considered the taste cell. They actually have the neuron attached to them. The blue are my supporting cells, meaning they can help that cell function correctly. So our taste cell has the ability to take those molecules that came through, convert them into chemical energy that my nerve fiber can pick up on, so it'll synapse directly onto my nerve fiber. My nerve fiber makes its way to the nerves that can detect or determine that information. And I now get information from areas of the brain that tell me, all right, am I picking up salty, sweet, umami, sour, bitter? Why in the world would that be important?
Maybe your body's low on a specific kind of nutrient or chemical, like the salts. You need sodium and potassium, things like that.
And the salt might taste better for someone that might have that situation. But in the characteristics of keeping an organism alive, why would any of that be beneficial? A lot of times, something that was detrimental to the species had a very yucky taste. And it would cause that species to spit it out, because most likely anything that had this sour or bitter taste, okay, would end up being something that was very detrimental to the species and could cause death to the species. So, therefore, as early man came along, okay, berries, that sort of thing, would be spit out and species got to live. Even now, we can have that reaction, but now we kind of know a lot more information, and that is going to help with our foodstuffs. All right? Even now, it's good that that reaction is present, because if, like, I don't know, let's say you're at someone's house or you're at a restaurant or whatever the case might be, okay, and it doesn't taste right, hopefully you won't eat it, okay, because there could be something wrong with it. That could make you sick or whatever the case might be. The other chemical sense, olfaction, smell, okay? Smell is pretty cool, okay? When you look at the sense of smell, in the air around us, because of the water amount that's found, and that carrying these molecules, all right, as that air and stuff makes its way to the nose, we can pick up on odorants, all right? Deodorant, for example, just saying, okay? So, we're going to find we have some mucosa, and because we call the sense of smell olfaction, they call it olfactory mucosa. Now, here's some of the cool things about smell. The cells are very close to the brain. When we were dissecting the brain and you had it looking at the underside, did we point out the olfactory bulbs? Did I? We couldn't. Were they cut off? Okay. Well, if you remember, when you look at the underside of the brain, all right, we saw that optic chiasm, okay, that really tough nerve that was there. Then right above that, we didn't have them, but in pictures and stuff that you've studied, okay, because these are cranial area, these are cranial nerve areas. Did you notice the placement of the olfactory bulbs? Okay, and that, I mean, that's like boom, right there on that base of the brain. Okay, so saying they're close to the brain is an understatement. They have hairs. Don't pull them. Clip them. Don't pull them. Okay? The cilia, all right, they're going to be immobile, but they have a binding site. So those hairs that we're going to have, okay, they have a binding site for the odors. Axons of the cilia form the fascicles of cranial nerve 1, which is which one? You're going to give it to me as olfactory with that Roman numeral 1, right? Right. Okay. So, they get lots of exposure. Think about the smells you notice just throughout one day's time. Think about the smells you notice just within an hour's time. Anyway, they get a ton of exposure. This right here is very unique to the sense of smell. We don't normally say neurons renew. they do for smell.